Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really digging into something critical, the absolute blueprint for digital defense, ISO/IEC 27001,
That's right.
and specifically that essential 2022 update. This isn't just some IT standard people talk about.
No, not at all.
It's the premier international framework for how businesses actually manage information security.
Mm.
And with cyber threats getting, well, smarter, more targeted, and frankly, just more expensive, this framework, it's gone from a nice to have to absolutely non-negotiable for pretty much everyone, right? Big or small.
That urgency is spot on. It's exactly why we're here. I mean, the landscape now, you're dealing with cloud migrations, complex supply chains, sophisticated attacks. It demands a holistic strategy.
Holistic, okay.
So our mission today is really to unpack the Information Security Management System, the ISMS. We want to show you not just what it involves, but why this 2022 revision is such a fundamental shift in thinking about security.
And there's a deadline looming, too.
Yes, absolutely critical. Any organization certified under the old 2013 version, they have to transition by October 31st, 2025. That clock is definitely ticking.
Okay, October 2025. Got it. So let's unpack ISMS for the listener. I think most people hear that and think, okay, firewalls, passwords, maybe some software.
Hey, the tech stuff.
Yeah, but the sources emphasize this is way broader. It's policies, processes, people, and technology.
Yeah.
So stripped down, what is an ISMS at its heart?
Think of it like the central nervous system for managing security risks in an organization.
Okay.
It's a structured system. Policies, procedures, roles, responsibilities, all designed to manage information security risks effectively, consistently. It makes security repeatable, measurable, and improvable.
So it's a management system.
Exactly. That's the key takeaway. It's not just a technical checklist you tick off. It's about managing security as a whole process.
And the information it's designed to protect, that hinges on the classic CIA triad, right? Confidentiality, integrity, availability. Let's break those down because getting the balance right seems tricky.
It is. It's a constant balancing act. So first, confidentiality.
Maybe.
This is basically the principle of secrecy, making sure information is only accessed by people who are actually authorized to see it.
Right.
Modern controls here, things like data loss prevention tools, DLP, stopping sensitive data leaking out, and multi-factor authentication, MFA, is huge for proving user identity.
Makes sense. Then integrity.
Integrity is all about trustworthiness.
Yeah.
Accuracy, completeness. It means protecting information from being changed or deleted without authorization, whether it's accidental or malicious.
So like making sure your customer database is accurate and can't just be altered randomly.
Precisely. Or corrupted by malware. Integrity relies heavily on things like strict change control processes, solid backups that can't be tampered with.
Okay, and the third one, availability. Now, this sometimes feels like it could clash with the first two. If you lock things down too much for confidentiality and integrity, don't you risk stopping legitimate users getting what they need?
That's a really important point, and exactly why it's a triad. It's about balance. Availability means authorized users can get to the information and the systems they need when they need them. It's fundamental for business resilience.
So too much security theater could actually hurt the business.
Absolutely. If your security makes systems unusable or painfully slow, you failed on availability. So the ISMS demands you manage that trade-off. Controls here include things like redundancy, disaster recovery planning, and defenses against denial of service attacks.
Got it. And this whole structure, this CIA triad protection, it's all built on a risk-based approach. You don't just jump into controls.
No, absolutely not. Before you even think about controls, you have to establish your context. That's clause 4 in the standard.
Context, what does that involve?
It means looking both inwards and outwards. Internally, what are your key processes? What's your appetite for risk? Externally, what laws apply to you? Think GDPR, HIPAA, CCPA.
Right, the regulatory landscape.
Exactly. And who are your interested parties? Customers, regulators, employees, suppliers. What are their security requirements and expectations? You define all that, define the scope of your ISMS, then you start the risk assessment.
And that assessment guides how you handle each risk. You mentioned 4 options: avoid, mitigate, transfer, accept. Can you give a practical example?
Yeah.
Say, for a small software company, what's the difference between accepting and transferring a risk?
Okay, good question. Let's say your software company relies on an old but essential development tool. It has some known security flaws, minor ones, can't be patched.
Okay.
Mitigating might mean putting extra security around just that tool, like network segmentation. But maybe fixing it is just too expensive, and you calculate the chance of a breach and its impact are actually very low.
Right.
In that case, you might formally accept the risk, You document why, what the potential fallout could be, and that it's an informed decision.
And transferring, how would that work?
Transferring usually involves shifting the financial impact. So you might buy a really good cyber insurance policy that covers breaches related to that tool. That transfers the financial risk. Or if the risk is too high to accept, you might avoid it entirely by just getting rid of the tool, finding an alternative.
Okay.
Every option comes after that assessment. Likelihood times impact. It has to be systematic.
And since risk changes all the time, this assessment can't be a one-off thing. How does the standard make sure this ISMS stays alive and doesn't just gather dust? I guess that's where the PDCA cycle comes in. Plan, do, check, act.
Exactly. PDCA is the engine. It's what drives the continuous improvement and ensures the ISMS remains effective and relevant over time. The main clauses of the standard, clauses 4 through 10, actually map really neatly onto this cycle.
Okay, let's walk through that. Starting with plan. Establishing the system. What's key here?
Well, planning involves clauses 4, 5, and 6. We've touched on 4, context. Clause 5 is leadership, and it's absolutely pivotal.
Management buy-in.
Yes. Top management can't just sign off. They have to actively show commitment, set the policy, ensure security aligns with business goals. Then Clause 6, planning, is where you take your risk assessment results and set actual measurable security objectives.
Like reducing phishing clicks by X%.
Precisely. Something tangible you can track.
Okay, that sounds like a lot of upfront work. How do you make sure the next phase, the implementation, doesn't just get stuck in paperwork?
That's where clauses 7 and 8 come in. Clause 7 is support. This is about providing the resources, people, budget, tools. It's also about competence, making sure staff are trained and aware, and managing all the necessary documentation.
Keeping the documentation manageable must be a challenge.
It can be, but it's essential. Then Clause 8, operation, is where you actually execute the plan. You implement the controls you selected, you manage operational processes securely, and critically, you manage security for externally provided services, your supply chain.
Supply chain security, that's huge now.
Absolutely. Clause 8 makes it explicit.
Right, so once things are running, you need to check if it's working.
Correct. That's Clause 9, performance evaluation. You need to monitor, measure, analyze, and evaluate your security performance. This involves regular internal audits.
Like looking at specific processes.
Yes, maybe reviewing your procurement workflow to spot risks, like duplicate vendors, as you mentioned earlier, perhaps. And you also need periodic management reviews, where leadership looks at the ISMS performance and decides if changes are needed.
And those reviews feed directly into the last step, act. Improvement. Keeping it sharp before that 2025 deadline you mentioned.
Exactly right. Clause 10, improvement. This is about reacting to problems' nonconformities. If an audit finds something wrong or you have an incident, you don't just patch the symptom. You do root cause analysis.
Oh, yeah, why it happened.
Yes, and fix the underlying issue. And you continually look for ways to enhance the system. It's that constant cycle that keeps the ISMS effective against evolving threats.
Okay, and connecting the plan to the do. You mentioned the statement of applicability, the SOA. Why is that document so important, especially for auditors?
The SOA is mandatory, and it's kind of the central map of your ISMS controls. It links your risk assessment findings directly to the specific Annex A controls you chose to implement.
So it shows why you picked certain controls.
Yes, it justifies why each selected control is needed, but just as importantly, it requires you to justify why you excluded any controls. It proves your choices were deliberate and risk-based, not just random. It's the core document auditors scrutinize.
Right. Let's shift focus now to the specifics of the 2022 update itself. This was needed because technology just moves so fast, cloud, AI starting to emerge. Where did we see the biggest changes?
Without a doubt, the most significant overhaul was in Annex A. That's the catalog of reference security controls.
The practical measures.
Exactly. The total number of controls actually went down from 114 to 93, mostly by merging similar ones, removing some duplication.
Streamlining it.
Yes, but the really big philosophical shift is how they're grouped. Ah, right. Instead of the old 14 domains, there are now 4 themes. Tell us about that reorganization. How does it emphasize that security isn't just IT's problem anymore?
That's precisely the point.
Yeah.
The old structure, sometimes felt like a checklist for the tech team. The new grouping makes it much clearer that security is integrated across the business. The 4 themes are:
Okay.
1, organizational controls. There are 37 of these. They cover things like policies, roles, responsibilities, asset management, the higher level governance stuff.
Got it.
2, people controls. Only 8, but crucial. Focus on human elements, screening, awareness training, remote working security, handling incidents.
That makes sense. People are often the target.
Absolutely.
Oh.
3, physical controls. That's 14 controls covering securing offices, equipment, data centers, clear desk policies, things like that.
Okay.
And 4, technological controls. This is the biggest group with 34, covering the more traditional IT security access control, encryption, network security, secure development, backups. So by explicitly calling out organizational, people, and physical controls alongside technology, it forces the whole business to take ownership.
Exactly. It elevates the conversation beyond the server room. It puts responsibilities squarely on leadership and different departments, not just the CISO or IT manager.
I think listeners would find it helpful to hear about some of the 11 brand new controls.
Yeah.
What are some examples that really address today's threats?
Yeah, these are quite telling. For instance, there's now a dedicated control for threat intelligence, 8.5.7. Organizations are expected to proactively gather and analyze information about current and emerging threats.
So being proactive, not just reactive.
Precisely. Then there's information security for use of cloud services, 8.5.23. This was badly needed, acknowledging how complex managing security is when you're using cloud providers and their shared responsibility models.
Yeah, that's a big one for many companies.
Definitely. On the technical side, there are new controls like data masking, 8.8.11, which is about obscuring sensitive data in non-production environments like testing.
Protecting data even when it's being used for development.
Exactly. And secure coding, APIN 8.28, gets its own control now, emphasizing building security into software from the start. Plus, data leakage prevention, APIN 8.12, is explicitly called out, using tools to stop sensitive data from leaving the network accidentally or maliciously.
Those definitely feel very modern, very 2022. But let's repeat a key point. Just because there are 93 controls in Annex A, it doesn't mean you have to implement every single one, does it?
No, absolutely not. That's a critical misconception. Annex A is a reference set, a menu if you like.
Right.
You only select and implement the controls that are necessary to treat the risks you identified in your specific risk assessment. If a particular risk doesn't apply to your organization, you don't need the corresponding control.
Like the cloud one, if you don't use cloud services.
Exactly. Or if a control simply doesn't reduce any of your identified risks, you just need to clearly justify the exclusion in your statement of applicability. It remains completely risk-driven, not checklist-driven.
Okay, so considering the effort involved, the leadership commitment, the resources, the documentation, what's the real strategic payoff? Why should a business go through all this? What's the bottom line benefit of having an ISO 27701 certified ISMS?
The benefits are very real and often quite measurable. Number one is definitely enhanced resilience and better risk management. I mean, there's data out there, like from IBM studies, suggesting certified companies have significantly lower breach costs.
Wow, like how much lower?
The figure often cited is around 53% lower costs during a data breach compared to non-certified organizations. That's a massive potential saving.
That alone is compelling. And I imagine it helps with the regulatory maze, too.
Hugely. It provides a really strong, internationally recognized foundation for compliance. While it doesn't automatically mean you comply with every law, it seriously helps with things like GDPR, HIPAA, CCPA. It reduces the risk of fines.
And it gives you a framework for future regulations, like AI maybe.
Exactly. It provides a structure you can adapt. It aligns well with emerging frameworks like ISO 42001 for AI management systems. It makes compliance much more systematic.
Okay, what about from a market perspective? Does it actually help win business?
Yes, definitely. It's a powerful trust signal. Certification builds confidence with customers, partners, investors. It shows you take security seriously.
Easier vendor questionnaires.
Oh, absolutely. It can drastically streamline those painful vendor security assessments. You can often just provide your certificate. This can genuinely speed up sales cycles, especially if you're dealing with larger enterprises or international clients.
And potentially lower insurance costs.
That's another potential benefit. Having a certified ISMS demonstrates a robust security posture, which can definitely lead to lower cyber insurance premiums. Insurers like seeing that proactive risk management.
Okay, the business case seems pretty strong. But let's be honest, implementing this isn't a walk in the park. What are the main roadblocks or challenges organizations typically face?
Yeah, it's important to be realistic. There are three main hurdles we see often. First, as we mentioned earlier with Clause 5, it requires genuine, sustained commitment from the very top.
Not just lip service.
No. If senior management sees it as just an IT project or a compliance checkbox, it's likely to falter or fail to deliver real value. It needs to be driven as a core business initiative.
Okay, hurdle number 1, leadership commitment. What's second?
Complexity, particularly around documentation and record keeping. Building and maintaining all the required policies, procedures, and evidence can feel overwhelming, especially for smaller organizations or teams without dedicated resources.
A paperwork burden.
It can feel like that, yes, though it's necessary.
And the third key challenge.
I'd say it's understanding that this is ongoing. The system is built on continual improvement. Many organizations make the mistake of treating certification as the finish line.
We got the certificate, we're done.
Exactly, but it's really the starting point. Maintaining the ISMS requires ongoing effort. Regular internal audits, management reviews, reassessing risks as threats evolve, updating controls, training people. It's not a one-time project you complete and forget about. It needs continuous care and feeding.
Okay, so let's try to summarize for you, the listener. ISO 27001.2022. It's really the definitive strategic framework for protecting your critical information assets. It's dynamic, not static. By systematically looking at risks across your people, your processes, and your technology, it embeds security deep into your business strategy. It goes way beyond just technical fixes or ticking compliance boxes.
It demands real commitment, yes, and resources. But the payoff in trust, cost savings, resilience, it's significant.
It really does seem like the essential blueprint for navigating today's digital world securely.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Absolutely. And just to leave you with one final thought, something our sources touched on that's really forward-looking. Think about artificial intelligence.
Ah, yes. The double-edged sword.
Exactly. AI is emerging as both a powerful new threat, imagine AI-driven automated attacks, but also a critical tool for defense. Think predictive security analytics, automated incident response.
Right.
The fact that the standard is adaptable enough to start factoring in things like AI risks, and even, interestingly, considering things like climate change during the context analysis. It shows that a well-built ISMS isn't just about today's cyber threats.
It's about building resilience for the future.
Yeah, it ensures the system you build can adapt to face these profound, sometimes non-traditional risks that are coming down the line.
Yeah.
Security today is about that broader operational adaptability, not just locking down the network.